Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, here on Path of Exile, and to GGG Live. We have massive changes to show you today with Path of Exile, Curse of the Allflame, which is coming out next week on July 25th. Twitch drops are enabled on today's livestream. This will soul shatter their finisher effect by following the instructions below. Waiting though, roll the trailer for Path of Exile, Curse of the Allflame.
The Allflame calls us to a lost, still draws ghostly thread. Down with my lantern, the floor.
Sülfür mü toplayacağız?
Source of the Allflame. Before, somewhere in the blackest depth, bounty. Come find your fortune in the depth.
Selam. Arkadaşlar burada gösterdikleri şeylerin çok bir önemi yok. Jonathan burada götünü de açsa biz Delirium artık biri oynayacağız. Çünkü mirror böyle düşüyor. POE1'e mirror düşürmüş biri olarak. Çok rahat söyleyebilirim. Abyss Rework. Legend. Abyss POE2'deki gibi olacak. O geliyor büyük ihtimalle.
We'll discuss the character instinct and Curse of the Allflame set of supporter pack. After which Q&A session where Ziggy D will interview
hemen supporter pack satmaya çalışıyor hemen.
Answering your questions from Twitch chat. I'll hand things over.
I'm Mark Roberts, Exile. A long for hidden in the icy dange and immensely good enough to claim. A dane who needs boot potential.
Gücünü açar şöyle yapar.
Across Rayclaw. Her ship to the pats are guarded by the rival courses will all in the enemies.
Boktan bir mekanik ya.
Treasure chest. All inside to granting you guard your border sovereign. The naval hair to the heart and quite blames curse to be removed paratus that light and eaves of the allow him anywhere art you've brought so you can skip it for Val as there might be. Oh, will you avoid has been imbued into a chief among the sphere. Rivets will be your ticket beneath and plunder an ample supply of lanterns. These are alive that exploring will drown. Rushing the way to revenge luminous core from the corrupted dead and the ocean to plumb these into deepest light burning. Bitter of the safety
Kanka şuna kim uğraşacak ya? Ben flicker oynuyorum, ben uçuruyorum amına koyayım. Cam gebereceğim, gideceğim.
As soon as you need them. You prefer speed, explore, and while you can lost fortunes, chests of valuables.
Chests of valuables, aynen kanka.
Even find waylanded recipient. Finders keeps right.
Maplerden de düşüyor. Bunlar beni tatmin etmedi.
One by one, and the creatures as they sense the vanishing to the safety of the battlefield.
The safe place. Aynen kardeşim. Ben flicker oynarken onu yapacağız.
Lantern enough dead man successfully chart voyage. Of the areas you've charted. You've charted enough areas. One job. Each area will reveal a special mod that applies when it is used as part applied to or the whole voyage. Here are a few examples. This modifier causes ornament dropped by monsters in adjacent charts to be converted to gold. This modifier will spawn friendly jellyfish alongside every pack of monsters in your voyage, which you will slaughter for extra loot and experience, we're sure. This modifier causes all monsters in adjacent charts to be empowered by Wildwood Wisp. With 9 positions on your board for charts when constructing a voyage, these can stack up fast. There are also charts which can take you to specially rewarding areas of the ocean floor. Fields of anchors strewn with treasure chests full of loot. Calgar and shipments lost at sea, and sunken abyssal pits teeming with monsters, to name just a few. There are even some ancient artifacts you might find and resurface. Additionally, the edges of the void the currents of corruption flowing through the waters of Rayclass, with randomized effects being rolled with each new voyage to affect the chart's place.
Benden Saks yazıyor herkes. Herkes bunun ne kadar boktan olduğunu yazıyor chat'e. Herkes. Yani tek ben değilmişim bunu düşünen. Bugout yazanlar var bir sürü.
And a well-planned voyage with a bit of luck can be a very profitable endeavor. But with so much acclaim, how are you going to get it all to the surface? Val has a solution for just that problem. In each of the charts that comprise your voyage, a capsule waiting for you, sent down by Val, which can store a bit of inventory worth of loot. Stuff these full, send Val a signal, and she will pull it back up to the surface, safe and sound. Since voyages are built of 9 charts, a lot of opportunities to send back plenty of valuables.
Nasıl bu kadar boktan bir mekanik getirirsiniz oğlum ya?
Satisfied with the plunder from your well-planned voyage, find any of these capsule locations, the bathysphere to it, as your ticket out. Val will send it down to your rescue as fast as she can. You just survive until it gets there. Once you do, don't forget to see all those capsules full of loot. Now, dead man sulfur that you've been hard at work gathering, just to keep the sovereign afloat and Vesper alight.
Full of trash filan yazanlar var.
Once you've got a bunch of it, head below decks, and you'll find the heart of the ship at work.
Millet taşak geçiyor chatte.
Whilst Vesper's body remains above deck, hiding away in a contraption of tarnished pipes and corpse-stained glass resides Vesper's soul, and you'll find him a pretty crafty fellow, a bit melancholy. That's where this league's item crafting system comes into play. Give Vesper an item, alongside a currency that you could normally use on that item, and an ample supply of dead man's sulfur. That item is then split into a multitude of ghostly forms, each of which will be the result of having applied that currency to the original item.
Şeyleri zaten getirebiliyoruz kanka normal craft'la.
To keep for yourself. The others will go up in smoke, as Vesper can reify a single outcome. This can be done with almost any crafting step you'd like. Want to see a few outcomes for that influenced exalted orb? Perhaps you've got a particularly expensive fossil combination you want to get maximum value out of.
Burası Desecrate gibi olmuş.
Do be
Apes'teki.
wary though, as the more potent the craft, the more sulfur Vesper will require to see it done. That's not all, however, as the sea floor hides some yet
Gene de
undiscovered
yapmam.
potential in the
Gene de
form of
yapmam.
rare and valuable ducats. These can be consumed by Vesper to warp and twist items in ways not seen in centuries, such as Kishara's Ducat, which creates 4 ghostly copies of an item, each of which will keep one mod from the original, perfect for creating powerful crafting bases. The Gentile's Ducat, which can solve item or gem requirement problems by changing one attribute to another, and Brine Hook's Ducat, which you can become an emissary of the gods of Rayclub. Who knows what these aspects might do? These Ducats come from special types of charts, so keep an eye out for them on your travels throughout Rayclast. You may even find some that lead you to notably unwelcoming waters. That covers the new league, and for the first time in Path of Exile, we're finally going under the sea. Some might even say this is the
Craft'ların hepsi Benchcraft'tan yapılıyor bu arada. Hani ne gerek var bunu yapmaya?
Not even close. Next up, we've got an old favorite making a return. The mercenaries of Trathus are once again roaming Rayclast, looking for hapless fools to duel. Mercenaries will start up from Act 3 in San. Before beginning a duel, you'll be offered an overview of the mercenary you've encountered. You can see the gear they have equipped and the skills they employ. As per the Trathan code, you have the right to wager for an item the mercenary is carrying. You'll stake some of your gold, the duel commences.
Okay. Mercenary geri gelmiş.
If you lose, you forfeit the levied gold, and the mercenary will teleport out, repulsed at such a poor display.
Zaten olan bir mekanikti.
And to the victor will go the spoils. In addition, if you win the duel, the mercenary will aid you as an ally for a number of areas. Trathan mercenaries for allies to have in Rayclast, assisting in a number of ways. Some mercenaries can provide you with power auras and buffs, while other mercenaries can do all the killing for you. While in map areas, if you don't like anything the mercenary offers, you have the ability to request their warrant as a promise to return and duel again at a later date. A call to
Permanent değil
action
tabii.
that calls that specific mercenary to a future map with the same set of skills but a new set of items. A mercenary will only grant their warrant once, however, preventing you from fighting that mercenary in every single area. Warrants also allow you to trade specific mercenaries to other players. It is important to note that unlike in Mercenaries of Trathus League, having a mercenary does not count as a player party member. So having a mercenary does not increase monster life or the quantity and rarity of items dropped from monsters.
Quantitileri falan da arttırmaz, rarity arttırmaz diyor. Bir sike yaramaz.
A mercenary I found. They have a great personality and powerful skills. Is there really no way I can keep them as an ally permanently? You can, but only if you are a Scion. For the second time in 6 months, the Scion is getting a new ascendancy class, the Luminary. The
Sadece
Luminary
sayında mı
is a
oluyor
natural
permanent?
leader, lighting the way for others to follow. Becoming a Luminary immediately lets them allocate the noble
Aynen.
blood
Sadece
passive,
sayında
allowing them
oluyor.
to permanently hire any mercenary they find in Rayclast. Luminaries can have up to 3 permanently hired mercenaries, 2 in reserve in towns and hideouts, and 1 as an active ally in combat. Unlike regular mercenaries, you can change the items permanently hired mercenaries have equipped, opening up innumerate potential build possibilities. By default, permanently hired mercenaries cannot be equipped with unique items. but these passives enable them to equip specific types of uniques. While the legendary arms passive, as mercenaries have many different unique items equipped. Luminaries have the flexibility of becoming a character to their mercenary, or having their mercenary support them. The Oath of Fealty and Golden Glory passives empower your mercenary by using your link skills on them. The Loyal Bodyguard and Bestowed Knighthood passives enable your mercenary to protect you in combat, as well as enhancing their aura skills. As with any old league that we add to the core game, we have added full Atlas Tree and Scarab support. Here, just a few examples. These passives allow you to much more easily target the specific types of mercenaries you want showing up in your maps. The Loot and Pillage passive gives mercenaries a chance to drop all their items when defeated, instead of just the one you selected. The Trathan Scarab of Renown makes it so the spawned mercenary is covered head to tail in unique items. And the Trathan Scarab of Infamy
bu tüm itemların unique olması muhabbet alınır.
Mercenary to spawn, accompanied by 2 other mercenaries for a truly unfair duel. Unfair for them.
O da yani map'te tüm yaratıkları kestikten sonra mercenary'e bir bakarsın. Güzel bir şey varsa alırsın yoksa.
On the sea floor in rare Curse of the Allflame encounters. Sellswords of Trathas won't be the whole of your problems in 329, however, as the denizens of the Lightless are getting some much needed updates with the modernization and rework of Abyss. When we brought Abyss over to
POE2'deki gibi olsun, ne olur. Abyss POE2'deki gibi olsun.
Some functional changes to the mechanic were made to improve significantly.
POE1'deki çok kötü. POE2'deki gibi olsun.
The majority of those changes will be making their way back to Path of Exile 1. The existing Abyss content had some notable problems.
Aynen böyle ilerliyordu.
It also required the player to follow a crack as it opens, often backtracking throughout already cleared areas. Now, as you approach an abyssal pit and the cracks leading up to it, you will find that and spilling forth abyssal energy into the surrounding
area,
subjugating the souls of enemies unlucky enough to be within its influence.
Bu güzel.
Slaying these enemies will send those souls spiraling down into the pit, the attention and ire of the minions of Kulamark that dwell beneath.
Eksi 40 FPS yazıyor biri.
The Abyss Legion will spill forth from their domain to tear you apart. The upshot of this rework is twofold. Firstly, there is now much more visceral feedback in the moment-to-moment gameplay of Abyss.
Güzel, POE2'deki Abyss gelmiş.
Drawing the player along, and most importantly, to chase a meandering abyssal crack around a map ever again. No more backtracking.
Oynayacağınız mekanik belli oldu arkadaşlar ya. Ya Abyss. Biri aynı duruyorsa biri artı Abyss. Deliriumlu.
To be clear, there are still some aspects of the existing abyssal system that we will be keeping. Abyssal jewels and items with abyssal sockets will remain. In fact, we have given Abyss a similar treatment to what we did with Dell fossils in our last release, moving abyssal rewards out of other areas of the game to make Abyss the exclusive source of abyssal jewels and Stygian vices. This will also come with a complete refresh of abyssal scarabs and Atlas pass reinvestment, dangerous and wild new ways to take on the lightless hordes.
Güzel.
Lastly for Abyss, but definitely not least, Abyss is bringing an entirely new endgame pinnacle boss, its own set of brand new unique items. This boss has a very unique way of accessing it. What does this eyeball do? Good luck figuring this one out. Let's move on to our next league being reworked, Legion. Every league should have distinct and interesting rewards that are exclusively available from that mechanic. This allows players to specialize in certain corners of the game, rewarding those who engage with a given mechanic. Legion is next on our list to receive this treatment. Despite having a unique combat mechanic, we felt Legion didn't have interesting exclusive rewards outside of timeless jewels. While incubators were technically exclusive to Legion, they effectively granted the same rewards that you could get elsewhere. Think about it. Firstly, incubators are being removed. No longer will you have to remember to apply incubators to all your equipment every few maps. Instead, we will be adding a new type of reward exclusive to Legion, the Stygial unique items.
Ya bunlar 3 kuruşa satılacak bu arada. Bunlar çok önemli değil.
New type of currency item, enshrouding crystals. These can be used on your unique armors. You can then take the enshrouded item to the domain of timeless conflict, which might look a little bit different to what you remember. A giant crystal emerges from the center of the domain, and there appears to be some sort of entity trapped inside. Potentially the reason that these armies are engaged in eternal conflict. At the base of the crystal are a number of smaller crystals.
5 kişi kerileme gitti diyor. Gitti tabi. Artık XP için carry alamayacaksınız.
Our gloves within the crystal begin to transform, and once you have killed enough, the crystal becomes volatile and looks ready to fracture. I wonder what will come out. Our Shaper's touch transformed into a Malagero's virtuosity. But now, Malagero's virtuosity has trace of the original enshrouded item bestowed upon it, in the form of a vestigial implicit modifier. As you can see, crystals allow you to transfer powerful modifiers from one unique item onto another. Here are some more examples of vestigial unique items. Helmets.
Yani evet kanka, bunlar 1 kaos 2 kaos falan olacak bunların fiyatları. O yüzden hiç kasmaya gerek yok pazarda.
And body armors. In addition to vestigial items,
çöp itemler.
Also making a number of small improvements to Legion. You no longer need to kill every last monster to begin the Legion encounter. Breaking out all the key monsters, chests, and the majority of
bir kaos holy diyor adam.
to start the combat automatically. No more cheeky single monster hiding in the corner, preventing your encounter from starting. Legion monsters drop fewer splinters, but in larger stack sizes, resulting in fewer clicks in each encounter. Unrelenting timeless emblems have been removed, regular timeless emblems absorbing many of their effects, causing the domain of timeless conflict to become harder, but more rewarding as you kill monsters. Your reward progress in the domain is now tracked by charging up these small purple crystals, rather than flooding your screen with hundreds of reward icons. The rewards are still the same, just not obscuring your screen with symbols. Talismans were introduced back in 2015, but over the years they've been long neglected and lack a meaningful place or purpose. We are making a number of changes to bring talismans back to relevance. Firstly, talismans are now exclusive rewards from Bestiary. Every red beast has a chance to drop a talisman specific to that beast. For example, the Krashik Croaker can drop the Croaker talisman. What makes these talismans special? Well, you'll notice a couple of changes compared to old talismans.
Kanka şunları kim kullanacak ya?
Talismans no longer drop corrupted, making them far easier to craft once you find one. Secondly, the special modifiers on talismans are now enchantment, rather than implicits. This means they compete with blight anointments, allowing their effects to be significantly more powerful than before. Here are a few more examples of new talismans. Talisman unique items have all been improved, and now have a chance to drop from all bestiary bosses. Check out the new Eyes of the Great Wolf talisman, which has some crazy possibilities. So that is everything covering the new and reworked League mechanics in 329. Now, that's already quite a lot of in-game content, with mercenaries returning, an upgraded Abyss, Legion's new reward mechanic, and of course, everything the Curse of the Allflame League has to offer. But even with all of that, we're not done. Because what about Atlas itself? Given Zana's actions to try and destroy it in the last two expansions. Zana's actions are causing the Atlas to become ever more destabilized. Strange locations have begun to manifest on the Atlas, many of which seem to be bleeding over from familiar places in Rayclast. Kerak has labeled these as anomalies. When you complete maps affected by a Voidstone, there is a chance that when you next open your Atlas, an anomaly may manifest. This one, the Mana Foyer. Like regular maps on the Atlas, you can select them at your map device. But unlike regular maps, these don't require an item to enter. It looks like this area is the abode of Cadero Piranda. Cadero is willing to offer valuable items in exchange for our gold. If you don't like what's on offer, you can reject it, and he will immediately offer another item. The next offer will cost more gold, but hopefully is much more valuable to you. If you don't have enough gold for the offered item, don't worry. Cadero is happy to wait for you to replenish your coffers. You can return to the area at any time. The anomaly will not disappear from the Atlas, either purchase an item or reject all his offers. Anomalies are unique in this regard. Unlike other locations on the Atlas, these areas can often be revisited. Let's quickly run through a few of the anomalies that can manifest. Reflecting Mists and the Nameless Seer no longer randomly spawn within maps, but instead now appear in their own anomaly area. Scrying is no longer the domain of the Nameless Seer, but instead can be done through the new, tradable Scrying Orb. Some anomalies grant a taste of League mechanics you might not normally run, without having to be fully invested into them. For example, this anomaly creates a random, fully revealed heist blueprint wing with random rogue companions. This anomaly has a version of the sacred plants have fully taken over. This strongbox seems to have a strange mechanism. Atlas anomalies are unaffected by your Atlas skill tree, and you can't augment them using any fragments. Therefore, they can be run at any time without feeling like they have to be saved for later to maximize the potential rewards. There are many more Atlas anomalies to discover for yourselves, each of them tied to a specific Atlas quadrant, or worth discovering which ones can in each part of the Atlas, as it may influence what Atlas strategy you wish to pursue. So that is a heap of new challenges to encounter, from the League and the in-game. But you may be asking, what new tools do we have to face these challenges? 329, we are giving a bit of love to spellcasters, specifically those that cast spells themselves. But first, let's address the elephant in the room that astute players may have noticed. Yes, I'm talking about those socket colors. So, after the better part of 2 decades, 29, we're making a fairly radical change. Sockets, at a basic level, don't have colors anymore. You can now put any colored gem into any socket. We're doing this to address a long-running issue for both new and experienced players. I'm sure almost everyone who has played before has run into the issue of finding a notable upgrade and have struggled to find a way to equip it. Maybe you find an amazing body armor, one that would give you a substantial boost to your defenses, but you just can't move your skill or support gems over because the colors of the sockets just don't match, and you didn't luck out with your chromatic orbs. It's not fun when you have to unequip a bunch of skills or supports just to use a better item. This can still happen with the socket numbers and socket links, so it's not like it's just purely trivial. The colors were just unnecessary, and not only prevented upgrading gear, it limited build experimentation. So, given that, what do the colors on gems with regards to sockets even now mean? Well, the colors on gems for sockets are still relevant, just an upgrade system. You can still find items with colored sockets, and you can craft them onto items. They are just rarer and more powerful. Most importantly, they don't restrict what can be socketed into them. So how are they more powerful? Well, if you were to find an item with, say, green socket, you can put a green gem inside of it to get an additional quality bonus to that gem. This allows socket colors to be a purely positive outcome on an item, while not just simplifying the system away. You can also still change the color of sockets on your items using a chromatic orb, which now guarantees at least one red, blue, or green socket. This change will make it easier for everyone to upgrade items and maintain their build, especially while progressing. Speaking of builds and gems, we wanted to make sure we improve some of those, specifically for spellcasters. Let's get into that. Spellcasters have a large number of different skills to choose from, but often many skills play and scale in similar ways. We have done a pass through existing, differentiating spell damage types from each other. Shadow's physical spells, like Ethereal Knives and Bladefall, now have a much higher critical strike chance than other spells at the expense of damage. Pure lightning spells now all have generally higher cast speeds. They cost more mana per second than other spells. You notice that some of the Ascendancy classes for Shadow, Witch, and Templar lacking options for general spellcast, so we've added a new notable to the Assassin, the Occultist, the Inquisitor. We are also introducing a new skill, Mana Infused Staff, that infuses your staff with arcane energy, raising your block chance and reducing the mana cost of your spells. In addition, when you are hit by an enemy, you retaliate with a wave of arcane lightning, dealing damage based on your maximum mana. One of the struggles we noticed with certain self-cast archetypes was that they lacked a scaling option in the endgame. In 329, we're adding a special new set of exceptional skill gems called Pacts. Each pact is themed around a specific Beyond demon and Lycia. You can make a bargain with these demons to empower your spells, but at what cost, you may ask? These spells don't have a typical cost, but instead cause the player to gain a special affliction debuff. Don't worry too much though, the rewards will be worth it. For example, Pact of Baydat causes many of your different spells to cause a ruckus, while Pact of Gore is using this pact will plague your enemies. Just cast it and watch everything around you melt. I wonder what Pact of Lycia, Pact of Katash do. We won't go into the specifics of all the balance changes we are making here, but there are many more caster improvements.
Bunlar shit build'lar ve shit item'lar bu arada. Yani asla endgame build'leri ve endgame item'ları, endgame upgrade'leri değil.
Check out the patch notes later for all the details. Next up, we're going to be talking about the new supporter packs for Curse of the Allflame. Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Plague and Remedis packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. Each series of supporter packs contains 7 exclusive microtransactions. Equipping the Plague weapon skin replaces the default appearance of your staff, sword, mace,
Oğlum,
or shield.
mikrotransaction'a bile özenmemişler ya. Bunlar ne?
The Plague rat pet is the result of a nefarious experiment. When a unique enemy is nearby, it faints as a defensive mechanism to protect its fragile body so it can continue to spread disease. The metal of the Plague Bearer armor set has corroded, and the cloth has begun to disintegrate from being exposed to such toxic elements. It includes the Plague Bearer back attachment, which spreads disease across the ground in town areas, maximizing the chance of infection. A diseased swarm infects your weapon when using the Plague Bearer weapon effect. Use it alongside the Erupting Pustule's rare finisher effect to spread vile and devastating disease to monsters you kill. Activating the Plague Wraith map device causes the plagued energy to flow from the chained being. Given the goal of spreading such illness is to end the lives of as many as possible, the map device tracks kills in kind, showing you the number of enemies killed in each map, sorted by rarity. Feel free to even pin the count of enemies slain in a map to the leaderboard at your leisure. Pair it with the putrefying portal, fully immerse yourself in the Plague Propagator experience. The map device and the portal emit such a potent putrefaction that even the birds flying overhead cannot survive, as they plummet to the ground around it. The Remedis pack series also contains 7 exclusive microtransactions. The Remedis weapon skin changes the appearance of your staff, wand,
Ya okey.
with relics once used
Daha fazla izleme gerek var mı bilmiyorum.
knights against the plague. The Medi Roa pet fitted out with all the
Arkadaşlar bok gibi bir lig bizi bekliyor.
locations.
Özetle bu şekilde.
These Roas seem to have a particular fondness for goblin meat. Remedis Knight armor set. Put upon those
Yani daha fazla hakaret edecek cümleler geliyor aklıma da etmek de istemiyorum.
The matching back attachment cleanses the disease left behind on the ground in town areas. The Plague Bearer back attachment. It's an important
Yani
job of a Remedis Knight.
şöyle bir lig bizi bekliyor böyle.
Help by doing
Böyle
your
bir lig.
part. Remedis Knight
Öyle.
weapon effect funnels the divine power of purification into your weapon. Return to the Saints' End Monastery hideout to recuperate from your purifying.
Yok, Drown olmayan bölgeyi açacakmışsın da o bölge küçülüyor da işte oradan kaçmazsan boğularak ölüyorsun falan fıstık. Amına kodumunun, ben zaten flicker oynuyorum. Benim zaten karakter 5000 kere hareket ediyor tek tuşta. Zip zap diye 5000 kere oradan oraya ışınlanıyor. Tamam, ben onu mu kontrol edeceğim, onu mu kontrol edeceğim? Ya POE1 gibi hızlı bir oyunda neden böyle bir sikik bir yani şey yapıyorsunuz? Mekanik yapıyorsunuz. Birinci sorun bu. İkinci sorun bu boktan itemları kim kullanacak amına koyayım? Bu itemları kimse kullanmayacak oğlum. Bu itemlar 1 kalso 2 kalso satılacak maksimum. Taç çatlasın 3 kalso olacak bu itemlar ya.
Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile, Curse of the Allflame, at 11 a.m. New Zealand time, p.m. Pacific. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release. Keep an eye on the news.
Yani simplex amulet dururken, tamam mı? İşte babalar gibi simplex amulet dururken o boktan amuletleri kim kullanacak? O getirdiğiniz. Yani kimse kullanmayacak amına koyayım. Ok gibi bir patch. Tek güzel yanı POE2'deki Abyss gelmiş rework olarak. Tek güzel yanı bu. Ben gene Delirium Bridge artı Abyss'le gene 2 mirror'ımı kasar çıkarım. Başka da bir şeye gerek yok. Şu soru cevap sohbeti de izlemeyeceğim ya. Yok sikimde de değil. Hadi görüşürüz, ben gidiyorum.